Now we need to identify the components of fitness. Remember, being able to perform activities with vigor and energy. We have three separate categories. We have health-related fitness, we have skill-related fitness, and we have physiological-related fitness. Now, what makes them different and why are they all important? Now let's look at health-related fitness. Normally associated with decreasing hypokinetic disease, and we'll look at that on the next slide. Used to be formerly 5 categories, now it's considered into 3. We have strength, but 3 categories of strength that the average person needs to work on. Their flexibility strength, their maximum strength, and their strength endurance or endurance strength. We also have to look at the cardiovascular fitness, which is endurance strength as well. Then we need to work on body composition. We want to keep our lean mass up and our fat mass down. Skill-related fitness, in the past it used to be normally associated with athletics. You know, if you were highly skilled, you could do a certain activity. But this is also a part of mainstream fitness programs. Agility. All agility is the ability to change direction under control. Balance is just maintaining static equilibrium. Coordination is coordination of a movement from one movement to another, to another, to another, or maybe they're all coordinated together to make one movement. Power, a lot of people think power is just how fast you're producing force. And but what it really is the rate of performing work. And that's just force times displacement of an object per unit of time. So if we're pushing something and we push it over a certain distance and we do it a certain amount of time, that's a certain type of power output. If we do high force and do it really, really fast, that's a high power output. If we do it slow and controlled, that could be a low output, and it could also be sustained for quite a bit of time. Most people don't realize there's a big difference there, but it's just the rate of doing work. We also have to look at how fast we are, speed. Then we also have to look at reactive abilities or reaction times. That will improve with training as well too. So if you look at these, athletes and normal people, regular people need these types of fitness as well, but also too, athletes need this as well too. So you can see it's all about performing. This is what it's about, which is what we're going to talk about on the next slide after this. What's hypokinetic disease? So if we go back, we talked about health-related fitness is associated with hypokinetic disease. So that is conditions that occur from a sedentary lifestyle. In other words, get up off the couch and we have to move. We have to eat right and we have to move. Example of this may include obesity. Now this could be from non-activity or it could be from a genetic predisposed condition. So we don't know that. But for a good portion of people, it's just because they're eating too much and their bodies are storing and they're not moving. How about complications arising from sedentary behavior, which could cause obesity? Cardiovascular disease, once again, from not moving. Some forms of cancer could be associated with a sedentary lifestyle. How about back problems? People sit all day, don't exercise. Some muscles get lengthened, some muscles get shortened, and they never stress parts of their body to make them bigger and stronger so they can move more efficiently and expend energy. Osteoporosis. If you look at bones, bone is a connective tissue with its own blood supply, but the only way to make it stronger is to stress it a little bit, load it a certain way with certain types of activities, strength training and all that, makes it thicker and stronger, and it offsets the aspect of osteoporosis. Also too, mental health. If we're exercising, remember that aspect of psychological health? That'll help us as well too, because they have proven that exercise can release endorphins that make us feel better. So these are all what they consider hypokinetic diseases and causes of them. Now, physiological fitness. This is most of that category that is ignored by the fitness community. It includes non-performance components related to the biological systems of the body influenced by habitual activity. So if we don't do a lot with our systems, they could decrease in performance and cause disease. But if we look at the biological systems, like all our internal organs, blood, blood cells, endocrine system, all those things. If they're stressed a certain way, they optimally work and can help do good things in the body and adapt well enough so we can become really healthy. Let's look at metabolic fitness. Studying for all the metabolic systems and variables that may predict risk for diabetes and cardiovascular disease. That's your metabolism. How fast, if you have a strong metabolism, your body's burning a lot of energy and all that. Even if you have a slow metabolism, if you exercise, it can improve it. If you increase cardiovascular health and muscular strength and size, it'll increase your metabolic rate because it's burning fuel on a 24-hour basis, fat on a 24-hour basis, not just while you're just exercising. Morphological fitness, which is related to status of body composition factor, body circumference, body fat content, and regional fat distribution. If we decrease the level of fat we have in our body from exercising, increasing our metabolic rate with health-related and skill-related fitness, we can decrease this and get rid of it. Bone integrity, like I said, it's a connective tissue. Status of the bone mineral density. This is in males and females. So even in males, they may have thicker bones and all that, but if you don't use it, you can lose it. So you need to think about that too. So let's look here. Health-related fitness, skill-related fitness, and physiological fitness. How do all of these, what do these relate to? Performance. Like you said, life is one big performance. We need to be physically prepared to handle the rigors of everyday life. That's an absolute fact. If you're not healthy enough to handle the stresses of life, no matter what they are, physical, emotional, psychological, educational, occupational, and spiritual, you're not going to survive. How can we increase fitness to improve performance? Well, let's look at all the factors affecting performance. So we're going to use this example for sport and fitness performance. Whether it's activities of daily living or sports. Heredity will have a big influence on performance. Some people are just more physiologically gifted than others. They learn faster, they have different types of muscle fibers, they have higher tolerance to exercises and discomfort while exercising, so that has a lot to do with it. If you work a lot, that's gonna decrease your ability to perform. Get to the gym, work out to try to be healthy. If you're going to school a lot, people go to school all day, they got to study, but if you don't take time to go out and exercise, it's gonna affect you. Your social life, and that basically means if you're out having a good time too much too soon, and too many times per week, that can have an effect on your overall performance of daily life. If you get an injury, think about it. We've all been injured at some point. Doesn't it decrease our ability to move efficiently and effectively? Sleep. We don't get enough sleep. We can't perform at our job. We can't perform in our social life. We can't perform in our relationships. This has a big deal. Our psychological aspects go down. Our physiological aspects go down because it can affect normal homeostasis. Nutrition, big one. If we don't eat right, put the right fuel in our bodies, we can cause lots of disease and lots of things going wrong in our metabolic fitness. Restoration. This is a big thing now. They're coming out now a lot with a lot of new research. If you work out, you need to take time to rest and do some kind of recuperation or some kind of restoration to make the body heal faster so you can keep training and keep performing better. Your environment. If you're in a bad, stressful environment, that's going to affect your performance on everything and affect so many of these other things as well too. Your coach-athlete interaction. Whether it's you've got a personal trainer or you're by yourself and all that, or the people you work out with. Some people like to work out by themselves. Some people like a group to work out with. But if that's not optimal, it's going to affect your performance. Now training. Your performance on an everyday life or your sport activity. If you don't train properly, you can't perform at another level or optimal level or even maximum level. You can't do it. So we're going to focus a lot on this. So if we look at sports-related fitness or even life-related fitness, it's a combination of health-related and skill-related fitness, which affects our physiological-related fitness. What's the priority in this type of fitness? What is the goal? For sports, could be off-season, pre-season, in-season, or post-season. In life, are you trying to get more fit for your job, occupation, for personal activities, exercise protocols, aesthetics, or do you just want to be healthy so you can feel better about yourself every day and be able to perform? How about testing? We need to find out, where are you at? Where is that person you're helping? Where are you at? What is our certain level of fitness? Can we move correctly? Do we have good range of motion and flexibility? Do we have proper levels of strength? Do we have good posture? But all these need to be tested, and once we have that data, we know where to start exercising and develop a program. And remember, all this is the basis of many programs. But what binds these all together? Strength. This is a pyramid model of the major elements of fitness. So if you look at this, remember the skill-related fitness? So we have that, health-related fitness, they go together. So if you look at this, skills, motor control. If we have an normal human movement applied to any activity, whether it's everyday activities, daily living, or sports, it's considered a skill. Every skill has a certain technique to it, but how we display that skill could be based on how we're built or our current levels of fitness or strength. So that's over here. Up here we have static and dynamic strength. Even if we're just squatting down, our trunk is static, but our hip, knee, and ankle are in a dynamic range of motion and working. It's moving. Now, if we look at here, it's connected to speed. If we got something that was really heavy, it's going to be more strength, speed. But if we get a lighter weight and less force production, or more force production but a lighter weight, it's going to be more towards speed, strength. We also have flex endurance. How about if you're able to produce a lot of force but be able to do it time after time after time, or just for sustained? That's strength endurance, or endurance strength. Flexibility is the same thing. We may have good range of motion to be able to hold it there, but what about dynamic strength through a range of motion or an activity? Our joints have to go through a proper range of motion, but if we don't have the strength to be able to hold it there, then it's going to fail. So that's why strength is so important. There's so many different categories. Remember, strength is the foundation of everything we do. It is a universal requirement. So no matter what you do when you go train or do some kind of exercise, you have to be strong enough to be able to do this exercise, and the stronger you are, the more efficient you're going to become. You may be able to go faster, longer, and harder. And this is not some kind of myth or concept. It's been proven time and time again over the last 40 to 50 years. So we need to get it through our head. We need to be strong enough. We don't have to be a power lifter or an Olympic lifter, weightlifter, but we certainly can be strong enough for us, so whatever we're doing in everyday life, we can perform it without even thinking about it twice. Now, strength is a very misunderstood concept. We need to find out what the definition of it is, what types of strength, which are multiple categories like we just saw. What's the methodology of training each category? What about the strength deficits? If you're trying to exercise, but if you have one muscle group that's directly in opposition with another, but one is stronger than the other, it could present problems. Whether it's front to back, side to side, all the muscles around the joint. If one side is stronger than the other, that's going to cause problem throughout the whole body. If your front side is stronger than your back side, that could cause a problem. One side versus the other. You see where I'm going here. We need balanced categories of strength and balanced strength of the whole body so we move efficiently depending on the activity we're doing. Now, research indicates that more than any other factor, strength prevents injuries. If we know how to do a movement correctly, the muscles are strong enough to be able to cause that movement. It will keep us from being injured because it's able to hold the body in the right position so we can perform that activity. And note, the type of strength and methodologies for training will be discussed in subsequent presentations. So we'll take a better look at this. Now, what is strength? The old definition is the ability to exert maximum force in like one rep. A more inclusive definition now, from like 1987, Kramer and Knudsen Knudsen, it's the ability to exert force. And all force is anything that causes or tends to cause a change in motion. The ability to exert force at a specified velocity, fast or slow, and in a specified direction. Forward, backwards, up, down, side to side, rotationally and all that, or a combination of those. So you get the idea. Exert a force, certain speed, in various directions. Now, activities of daily living require strength as much as sports performance. Just because somebody stays at home, male or female, even the activities they do around the house and all that still require certain levels of strength to perform that without any undue fatigue and getting injury. Going up and down stairs multiple times a day takes a certain amount of strength. Picking stuff up in the yard, moving furniture, all that kind of stuff. Think about it. We need to be strong enough to be able to do those things without undue fatigue and be able to do that without injury, without even thinking about it. And remember, activities of daily living is considered a performance. Who needs to strength train? The answer is easy. Everybody. Male, female, young, old, middle-aged, whomever. People all over the world. If they want to be healthy enough to be able to do those activities, they need to be strong enough to do it. Increasing strength levels improve quality and quantity of movement. It decreases the risk of injury and improves all categories of fitness. Just like there's all categories of strength, there's all categories of fitness as well too, and they all can be combined to improve performance and decrease injury. So what type of strength training do we need? We looked at this. This is from Stone and Sands. They made a star diagram versus the other one we saw. Because if we have good core strength here, if our trunk is really strong with what they call core, then our arms and legs move really efficiently. And we can do maximum strength. We can do skilled movements because we have the strength, we have the speed, the flexibility, and we have the endurance to do it. So you get the idea where we're going here. What type of strengthening for optimal health and fitness? We need to work each category. We can go heavy, moderate, light. We can go high, medium, or low volume. How much work are you actually doing? We can go fast, we can go slow, we can go medium speeds, but we need to build up to doing things more efficiently, at higher levels, higher volumes, and at higher intensities. Think about this. We can do body weight training, barbells, dumbbells, cables, machines. We can flip tires. We can swing kettlebells. We can do suspension system, med balls, you name it. If it adds resistance to a movement pattern, they can help us increase strength in all categories. The list is endless. It just has to be planned and implemented correctly. Now, exercise intensity. Intensity means strength, means concentration, it means power, the rate of doing work, how much force, a push or a pull, that causes motion, and the amount of intensity of your effort. How much are you doing? Describes the rate of work, which is your power output. How much energy is being expended per minute. Remember what energy is in all forms. The capacity to do work. This is what we call power output. How much work are we doing and the amount of time we're doing it in. It could be low power output or sustained force output for long periods of time, or really high force outputs done in a short amount of time. What a lot of people call explosive strength. And we have sustained strength. We call low force output strength for sustained. That's endurance strength. Think about it. Examples. Cycle or running, that's cyclic work. It's repetitive work done for long periods of time over and over again without any decreases in force output. Weightlifting. If you look at weightlifters, they do a snatch and a clean and jerk. It's done with a lot of force, but done extremely fast and done rapidly. That's a high power output or high rate of force development. It's the rate of doing work. And all power is how much work we do per unit of time or work over time. And work is what I said before. How much muscular strength or muscular force do you do, put on an object, the distance or displacement of that object, and how much time do we do it in. So it's power equal work divided by time, or force times distance divided by time, or basically it's how much force times the speed or velocity of that movement. It sounds complicated, but if you really think about it, how we're going to do this, it's actually very, very easy to understand. Now, what's absolute intensity? It's the rate of work expressed. How much work are we doing? But how do we measure it? Most people will talk about kilocalories, which is nothing but, it's like 1,000 calories. But how much? A kcal is equal to 1,000 calories. But we just call it a calorie. Most people do this. If we're burning an X number of calories, that means we're doing a lot of work and we're expending a lot of energy in our bodies, making our muscles stronger, yada, yada, yada. Think about all the different activities we can do to expend or burn calories. We can also look at METs, which are metabolic equivalents. That is, 1 MET is equal to 3.5 milliliters of oxygen used per kilogram of body weight per minute of exercise. So if you think about that, 1 MET is equal to 3.5. If you're doing 10 METs, we're using 35 milliliters of oxygen per kilogram of body weight per minute of time. And that's, if you do that for a sustained bit of time, guess what? You're using a lot of METs and burning a lot of calories. We can also talk about watts, which is, if you look at that power formula, force times distance divided by time, that's joules per second, which equals so many joules per second is equal how many calories, but it's also expressed in wattage, which means nothing more than your power output. Most people use this. A lot of scientists will use these two. Relative intensity, the degree of effort required to expend energy. And it's influenced by your aerobic or cardiovascular fitness. Your heart rate, if your heart rate goes up, you're working really hard, you're working a lot. If it's a heart rate is low, it's a low force output or power output done over a long period of time. It's also considered a percentage of how much your VO2 maximum is. How much the volume of oxygen you use total per kilogram of body weight per time. It can also be related to aerobic fitness, which is interval training. You do a little bit of work. It's a work-rest ratio is what it is. Hard work, rest, or low work, rest, low work, rest. It can be either sprinting or resistance training. Resistance training is actually considered interval training. So you can see how they all go together. It can be really heavy weight done for a few times, but done a lot of sets, or lightweight done for a lot of repetitions, done for a lot of sets as well too. So it just depends. Different sides of the same coin. Health, those benefits occur independently of changes in body weight, which will help delay death. Remember, health, absence of disease. Delay health, avoid disease, enjoy life, withstand the challenges of day-to-day activities, your day-to-day life, improve systolic blood pressure and blood lipid profiles, how much fat is in the blood, and we can lose body fat. You do all these, it decreases the risk of injury and it largely decreases the risk of disease, and that's what health is. Now for fitness, which is related to health-related fitness, which is what this is, continue with the health benefits, but we have a greater reduction in the risk of cardiovascular disease. We also have a greater reduction in diastolic blood pressure, systolic over diastolic. If that diastolic goes up, that means we got a real problem. Enhanced glucose control, blood sugar levels. When the body breaks down carbohydrates, it turns it into glucose, which goes through, and that's what, if our body isn't able to take it into the muscle cells or any kind of tissue, and if we don't have the right compound to pull it in there, we could get high levels of blood glucose levels, and that could cause diabetes. We also have a greater increases in cardiorespiratory fitness, and also the development of components of all kinds of fitness. So you can see how these two go together, very much so. Remember too, health-related fitness is working on this, but we also still need skill-related fitness to enhance this, to enhance this.